This is number 41 from your final chapter review. So it says a photograph is 4 inches longer than it is wide. So that's pretty important, so I'm going to just underline that for a moment, that whole sentence. If the frame is 2 inches wide, the combined area of the photo and the frame is 252 inches squared. So we know we have a frame that's 2 inches wide, and the area is 252 of both. Then we want to find the dimensions of the photograph. Okay, so anytime we're doing a word problem, we got to know what in the hell is going on. So I'm a very visual person. Some people don't need to do this, but I always need to draw a picture. So it helps me understand kind of what's going on. So again, we have a photograph. So I'm going to draw a photograph. Bear with me, I'm not the most artistic person. Here's my photograph, little stick do. Okay, there's my photograph. Okay, we're told the photograph is 4 inches longer than it is wide. So if we think about it, we don't know the width. So we have to make it some value. I'm going to go ahead and make it a variable x because it's unknown. This is my width. Then I know my length is 4 inches longer. So that means it's my width plus 4. Okay, that's the first sentence. Check done. Then we're told we are going to add a frame to it. A frame of a picture goes all the way around it. So I'm going to draw a frame. And it says the frame is 2 inches wide. That means it's going to be 2 inches from the photo to the end of the frame. So it's 2 inches there. It's 2 inches here. It is 2 inches from here to here. And it's 2 inches from here to here, even though it's not drawn to scale. So that's my frame. That's the picture we're talking about. Then it says we have a combined area of the photo and the frame is 252. So I know my area is equal to 252 inches squared. Well, the shape of this is a rectangle, and I know how to find the area of a rectangle. So that's where we have to start, because I want to find the dimensions of the photograph. Well, I know my dimensions are x inches by x plus 4 inches. Okay, so I need to solve for x. Well, if the only thing I know is the area and some different frames, I probably have to use the area formula. So since it's a rectangle, we know area is equal to length times width. Okay, so let's plug in what I know. I know my area is 252. I don't know my length, but I can come up with an equation for my length. So if this is my length, and I'm going to write in yellow, it might not be the prettiest. This all is my length. Well, that length is made up of this 2 inches plus all of the photo, which is x plus 4. Okay. And then the other part of my frame, which was 2 inches. So that means my length is 2 plus x plus 4 plus 2. Then I can come up with the equation of my width. Well, I know my width of this whole thing is all of this. Oh, my pink marker doesn't work very well. Oh, that made it worse. Okay, so my width is this, which is 2 inches. So I know I have 2 inches. Then it's the width of my photograph. My marker's not working, which is x. So I have an additional x. I'm determined to make it work. And then I still have this little section here, which is again 2 inches, so plus 2. So my width is 2 plus, x plus 2. This marker's got to be thrown away. You can kind of see that. So then I can go about simplifying this. So I get 252 equals, well, 2 plus 4 plus 2 is 8 plus x. And then I have 2 plus 2 is 4, so times 4 plus x. Then, if this was equal to 0, I'd already have my answers. It'd be 8 and 4, but it's not equal to 0. So I have to actually go ahead and FOIL this all out and then refactor it after this is equal to 0. So to FOIL it, I'm going to go 8 times 4 equals 16, so 32. 8 times x is 8x. 4 times x is 4x. X times x is x squared. And I'm going to go ahead and subtract the 252 right away, so minus 252. Now, then we simplify and combine all like terms. And because I'm really picky and kind of OCD, I want my x squared to be at the beginning. So I'm going to move that. I have an x squared. I have an 8x and a 4x, which gives me 12x. And then I have a 32 and plus negative 252 is negative 220. So now I just have a quadratic. It's set equal to 0. So then the only thing we can do is factor it and solve. So I'm going to set up my normal factoring. So I'll set up my parentheses with x in front. So then I need to ask myself what multiplies up to negative 220 and adds up to 12. Okay, so you could make a list of your factors. 1 and 220, 2 and 110. I'm going to skip ahead because I already know it. 10 and 22. Hey, 10 and 22 have a difference of 12, which is what we need. And since it's negative 220, one of these has to be negative. Well, I want a positive 12. So if I make 10 negative, negative 10 plus 22, hey, that's positive 12. So that means I have negative 10, positive 22. So then you go to solve, you get x equals 10 and x equals negative 22. Well, in context to our problem, remember x means the width of my photograph. Well, negative 22 inches, that does not make sense in terms of the problem. But 10 inches does. So that means my width is 10 inches. So I have 10 inches by, and remember, my length is 4 inches longer. So 10 plus 4 is 14 inches. So my photograph is 10 inches by 14 inches. And that is how you solve that problem.